Recently, scientists discovered what some believe to be a key to tracking Moses' secret graveyard. In Judaism, as well as in Christianity and Islam, Moses holds immense significance. Moses' story dates back to ancient Egypt, during a time when Pharaoh decreed that all newborn Hebrew boys must be killed. Moses was saved and adopted into Pharaoh's household, marking the beginning of an extraordinary journey. Join us as we look into the mysteries surrounding this extraordinary discovery and whether what they discovered confirms what we already know. Scientists led by Josh Gates were deeply emotional when they announced what seemed impossible, the discovery of Moses' sealed tomb, untouched for thousands of years. The reason why they became emotional might not make sense to you until you understand the kind of person Moses was. Before understanding why this discovery affected the scientists so much, it's important to look back at Moses' remarkable life. So, let's do that. Moses spent 40 years in the land of Midian, where he married Zipporah, the daughter of a local priest, and worked as a shepherd. His life changed dramatically when he encountered the burning bush on Mount Horeb, where God commanded him to return to Egypt and lead the Israelites out of slavery. Moses confronted Pharaoh, demanding the release of the Israelites, which resulted in God sending 10 plagues upon Egypt. After the death of Pharaoh's son during the final plague, Pharaoh relented, allowing the Israelites to leave. This event marked the beginning of the Exodus. Moses is a central figure in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, 3 of the world's largest religions. He was born in ancient Egypt during a time when the Pharaoh ordered the death of all newborn Hebrew boys to control their population. In a desperate move, his mother placed him in a basket and sent him down the Nile River, hoping to save his life. Moses was found by Pharaoh's daughter, who adopted him and raised him in the royal palace. But things took an interesting turn from here. Despite growing up with the privileges of royalty, Moses always remembered his Hebrew roots. When he was 40, he killed an Egyptian who was beating a Hebrew slave, forcing him to flee Egypt to avoid punishment. Moses lived quietly in the land of Midian for 40 years, where he married Zipporah, the daughter of a local priest, and worked as a shepherd. However, his life changed dramatically when he encountered a burning bush on Mount Horeb, Mount Sinai, where God spoke to him and told him to return to Egypt to free the Israelites from slavery. Moses returned to Egypt and, with the help of his brother Aaron, demanded that Pharaoh let the Israelites go. When Pharaoh refused, God sent a series of 10 plagues to punish Egypt, from turning the Nile into blood to sending swarms of locusts and covering the land in darkness. The final plague, the death of every firstborn son, including Pharaoh's, finally convinced Pharaoh to release the Israelites. Before the final plague struck Egypt, Moses gave the Israelites a key instruction: mark their doorposts with lamb's blood. This act would protect them from the angel of death, which would pass over their homes and spare their firstborn children. This act of faith led to the establishment of Passover, a central tradition in Jewish life. When Pharaoh's own son died in the final plague, he finally gave in and allowed the Israelites to leave Egypt. This moment, around 1250 BC, marked the start of the Exodus. Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt toward the Promised Land, but soon after, Pharaoh regretted his decision and sent his army after them. Trapped between the Red Sea and Pharaoh's forces, the Israelites were desperate. But once again, God intervened. Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the waters parted, creating a path for the Israelites to escape. As they crossed to safety, the waters closed in on the Egyptian army, drowning them and securing the Israelites' freedom. With Egypt behind them, Moses led the Israelites through the harsh desert. Their journey was long and difficult. At Mount Sinai, God gave Moses the 10 Commandments, which became the foundation of Jewish law. Despite these divine signs, the Israelites often struggled with faith and disobedience, resulting in 40 years of wandering in the desert. During this time, Moses continued to guide them, settling disputes and teaching them God's laws. Miracles followed, like manna from heaven to feed them and water drawn from a rock. As the 40 years drew to a close, Moses was allowed to see the Promised Land from the top of Mount Nebo. However, because of a previous act of disobedience at the waters of Meribah, Moses was not allowed to enter. All of these backstories should now help you understand why his place of burial is hidden in such a deep mystery. Let's look at how the tomb was discovered. According to the Bible, Moses died on Mount Nebo, and God buried him in a secret place around 1271 BC. The mystery of Moses's burial has intrigued people for centuries because of his importance, as we have already talked about. If a reader of the first 4 books of the Torah still has any doubts about Moses's paramount importance to Israel's history, the book of Deuteronomy makes it undeniably clear. Fast forward to the present, Josh Gates and his team may have discovered Moses's long-lost tomb. One site of particular interest is Nabi Musa, nestled in the Judean desert near the Dead Sea. For centuries, this site has held religious significance, especially in Islamic tradition, where Moses, known as Musa in Arabic, is revered as a prophet. Muslims believe Nabi Musa to be his final resting place. The site has deep connections to Moses, who is mentioned more times in the Quran than any other prophet. His story in Islam shares many similarities with the biblical account: his birth, his escape from Pharaoh's decree, and his role in leading the Israelites out of Egypt. Nabi Musa became a place of religious importance around 1269 AD and has since been associated with Moses's final chapter in Islamic tradition. The room in a small courtyard may be modest, but its religious significance far outweighs its size. Jebel Harun is revered in Jewish, Christian, and Muslim traditions as Aaron's resting place. According to the Torah, Aaron died and was buried at a location referred to as Mount Hor or Masra, though interpretations vary. The Jewish historian Josephus, in the 1st century AD, identified a mountain near Petra as Mount Hor, the site of Aaron's death. This belief was later embraced by Christians, who built a Byzantine monastery there, establishing it as a pilgrimage destination. In Islamic tradition, Aaron, known as Harun, is also highly revered. He is acknowledged in the Quran as a prophet who aided his brother Musa, Moses, in leading the Israelites. The current mosque, built during the Mamluk era in the early 14th century, stands atop the mountain as a sacred place for Muslims. However, long before the mosque, a Christian monastery stood here, offering refuge for travelers and pilgrims. Today, the ruins of that monastery can still be seen near the peak, a testament to the mountain's long history as a holy site. The interior of the mosque is simple, with a small room beneath the dome serving as a shrine to Aaron. An inscription above the door notes the mosque's last renovation in 1320 AD, maintaining the modest charm that invites visitors to reflect on the site's spiritual importance. One significant site, Nabi Musa in the Judean desert near the Dead Sea, holds special importance in Islamic tradition. Muslims believe this is where Moses was buried. During the Mamluk Sultanate, Sultan Baybars constructed a shrine and mosque at the site, establishing it as a pilgrimage destination. The annual Nabi Musa festival, linked to the celebration of Laylat al-Isra and Miraj, involves a pilgrimage from Jerusalem to the shrine. The site reflects medieval Islamic architecture, with its mosque, shrine, and accommodations for pilgrims. Another notable location, Jebel Harun near Petra in Jordan, is believed to be the burial place of Aaron, Moses' brother. A mosque built during the Mamluk era remains an important religious site for Muslims. Mount Nebo, also in Jordan, holds a prominent place in Moses' history. It is said to be where Moses viewed the Promised Land, though he never entered it. The summit offers stunning views of the Jordan River Valley and Jerusalem. During the Byzantine era, a church and town were established at the site. In 2000, Pope John Paul II planted an olive tree near the Byzantine chapel, symbolizing peace. A modern addition to the site is the Serpentine Cross sculpture by Italian artist Giovanni Fantoni, representing the bronze serpent used by Moses and the cross of Jesus. In 2018, explorer Josh Gates and his team embarked on an expedition to search for alternative burial sites for Moses, including the Sea of Galilee. Using advanced technologies such as satellite imagery, ground-penetrating radar, drones, and 3D scanning, the team discovered a large circular stone monument submerged in the Sea of Galilee. This basalt structure, 230 feet in diameter and 32 feet tall, is associated with ancient burial practices, hinting it could belong to a significant figure like Moses. Despite challenges like poor visibility and strong currents, the team uncovered a hidden chamber beneath the stone mound. Inside, they found an undisturbed burial site with a simple coffin, focusing on preservation rather than display. This discovery deviates from the Torah's tradition of venerating the burial sites of Israel's leaders. The secrecy surrounding Moses' tomb may stem from concerns that future generations might deify him due to his miraculous acts. Medieval Jewish philosopher Rabbi Levi ben Gershon argued that objects associated with Moses could lead to idolatry. Moses himself warned against making physical images of God or worshipping idols, emphasizing that worship is reserved for God alone. The story of Mary's Assumption shares thematic parallels. According to Catholic belief, Mary ascended to heaven without experiencing death, a doctrine formally declared in 1950 by Pope Pius XII. Eastern Orthodox Christians celebrate a similar belief, known as the Dormition of the Mother of God. Over centuries, these beliefs evolved, with the celebration of Mary's Assumption becoming a significant occasion marked by pilgrimages and prayers. Mary's tomb, believed to be in the Kidron Valley, has sparked various traditions and legends. Some believe she died in Mari, modern-day Turkmenistan, while others suggest she traveled to Ephesus with St. John. The discovery of Mary's tomb and related traditions continue to fuel discussions across Christian denominations. Assumption Day is observed on August 15 in over 30 countries, reflecting its global religious and cultural significance. Finally, Greek scientists are working to restore an original rock tomb beneath a marble layer, believed to be connected to Mary. Led by Professor Antonio Malo, the team is carefully studying the site. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre, cared for by 6 Christian groups, including the Greek Orthodox Church, remains central to Christian traditions. These discoveries and celebrations highlight the enduring spiritual and historical impact of figures like Moses and Mary in religious traditions worldwide. This mystery captured the imagination of explorer Josh Gates, who embarked on an ambitious journey to uncover possible alternate burial sites. One area that caught his attention was the Sea of Galilee, a region steeped in biblical history. In 2018, Gates and his team set out on an expedition, meticulously planning to search for underwater sites or hidden structures around the Sea of Galilee, hoping to find clues to the long-lost tomb of Moses. With the latest technology at their disposal, they analyzed the terrain and pinpointed areas matching descriptions from ancient texts. Advanced mapping software helped them create precise guides for their fieldwork. Using ground-penetrating radar, GPR, drones, and 3D scanning technology, they gathered insights without disturbing the terrain. Their discovery beneath the Sea of Galilee in October 2018 truly captured the world's attention. After weeks of scanning, Josh and his team uncovered an ancient circular stone monument, a cairn, submerged in the lake. This massive structure, made of basalt rocks, measured 230 feet in diameter and rose 32 feet from the lakebed. Such formations are often linked to burial practices in various ancient cultures, and this one hinted at forgotten rituals. Its monumental size and location made it a compelling piece of evidence in the search for Moses's final resting place. As they excavated the site, the possibility that this structure could be connected to Moses's tomb became increasingly plausible. The cairn's deliberate construction and association with ancient burial practices suggested it wasn't a random formation but possibly marked the tomb of a significant figure. Challenges included poor visibility, strong currents, and the sheer depth of the lake, yet Josh and his team pressed on. Their painstaking efforts revealed an ancient tomb within a hidden chamber. Inside lay a simple coffin, far less ornate than expected, with remains wrapped in linen remarkably well preserved due to the chamber's unique conditions. This simplicity heightened the mystery, suggesting the burial could belong to someone of great significance, possibly Moses himself. Josh Gates exclaimed that they had found Moses's tomb, astonished by the revelation. The discovery beneath the Sea of Galilee seemed to challenge centuries of tradition. Could this truly be the long-lost resting place of one of history's most revered figures? Hiding Moses's burial place, however, was no mistake but an intentional move. Various explanations suggest why his tomb was concealed. Unlike other revered burial sites in the Torah, such as Abraham's family tomb, Moses's grave was hidden to prevent idolatry. Rabbi Levi ben Gershon, Ralbag, argued that Moses's immense influence and miraculous acts could have led future generations to deify him. Citing the episode of the copper serpent, which became an object of idol worship, Ralbag explained the dangers of venerating Moses's burial site. Moses himself warned against idolatry, emphasizing God's incorporeal nature. By concealing Moses's grave, God ensured his legacy remained untarnished by deification, reinforcing that worship is reserved for God alone.